Okay, so welcome to a Power Plus workout. This is going to be a 20-minute full body HiiT. Due to the nature of the day with the recording equipment, we're going to do a voiceover here. So here we're just getting into a warm-up, just getting the body moving with some butt kicks. So trying to keep the core nice and tall, bring the chest through, nice and bouncing, nice and soft for the landing as you go for the ankles and the knees. Change it up into a jumping jacks, out to the side and out in front. Keep that breathing going. Again, soft for the joints, but keeping the core tight. Feeling that body weight just warming into a run. If you can't bring the knees up to a high knees, go into a fast feet pedal or marching in place. Just feel yourself getting all those limbs moving. And now we're going to go to a squat pop. So coming down, touch the ground, and go wide with the legs. The wider you go the legs, the less you're going to need to flex the knees. And again, try to make sure you're being soft in those all important joints. So you don't want to land with stiff knees. Take the legs nice and wide. From here we're going to reach down from one side to the other. So as you reach to your right leg, you should be feeling more of a stretch in that right side. And if you want to hold it a little bit more to an area that feels tight rather than changing as much as I am in the video, that's fine. So we're going to go from a walkout, transferring the weight from the feet to the feet and the hands, and then step on each side and drop the hips down to really get a bit more of a stretch through those hips and hip flexors. Push it back up, that's one complete rep. Again, walking out. Now, a little thing I've not done in the video here is if you find it hard to put weight on your wrists, you can clench up into a fist so you're not flexing back at that 90 degrees. A little bit of an angle change here, so you probably see me do this a little bit in the video quite a bit, just to try to get as much in, because it's quite a nice space to work out. But again, for recording and angles, it can be a little bit limited, and that barbell actually only fits in there just if I want to do it face on. Okay, so just getting the equipment ready. So all you're going to need today is a chair for the second cluster. So what we're going to be doing is this workout is going to involve 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off, 3 exercises, and then you're going to repeat that little 3 twice, and then we're going to go to another 3 and another 3. So we're going to go our legs and upper body and core. So we're going to start with the upper body. So we've got a push up and a shoulder tap. So try to breathe in and go down into the push up. Strong push up and breathe out. So we're for 40 seconds here. Now again, here's the modified version. Drop into the knees. Try to really emphasize the thought that your chest is squeezing together when you're pushing the ground away from you. So you're not just getting the arms to work. And be careful not to let the elbows flare out too high. They want to be about 45-degree angles, so they're not in line with the shoulders. And hit that nice tap as well. So this is going to be your first break. So you've got 20 seconds here. So I'm going to keep these little setups. So I'm going to do a power push. So what happens here is I come down to a squat and I fall forward to get more of a push emphasis on the shoulders. And then at the top you can add a jump or just go to a squat extension. So I'm going to fall down. Arms are going wide. Get a steep angle, so it's a bit more of an incline. So now the last exercise was hitting more the chest and the triceps, a bit of shoulders. Now you're going to be hitting a little bit more of the shoulders and the triceps as well. Plus it's explosive, so that's always fun. Practice that deep squat, and again, if the jump is too much, you can always take that out. You can even see I've gone there down to the knees, and I'm just walking my hands back as well. If the push-up is too much, take it out. You know, don't injure your wrists or push an injury beyond what's capable of if you've got anything for it. Okay, so that's the second exercise of this first cluster. So this is going to be the last exercise before we start to repeat. So we're going to go into a tricep dip. So I've just brought a chair around the corner of the balcony. You can use your sofa if you've got, you can see I've got a bench there in the background. Be a little bit low, so the chair was better for me. Now my hands, I'm trying not to point the fingers in the same direction as me. I'm trying to point them around the side. Main thing there is you see my shoulders don't jack forward and cave in. So I've just pulled the legs back so I just can offset my body weight a little bit more so I can push, because now shoulders and triceps are burning. You can see my face. It's not an easy one, so I can imagine if you guys are following along now, really going to feel that in the upper body. So make sure you breathe in on the way down, breathe out on the way up. It's not all about the depth On these, you want to focus more on locking out at the top and getting that arm long. Okay, so that's going to be one cluster. The break is 20 seconds. And we go back through it all again. So it's going to be the push-up and the tap. Let's take a water break. Be ready to jump back in. Dust yourself off. Okay, so in that position. So remember, if your legs are closer together, so if your ankles are touching, when you go to that push and tap, you're going to find it much harder to stabilize. You're going to be down to 4 limbs. So essentially just 3, because the feet are so close together, it's going to count as 1 limb. So your balance is going to be a lot harder to do there. Again, to really get the benefit of this movement, if you're dropping to the knees, if you're staying up tall, try to do the eccentric. That's where we're going down to the ground. It's nice and steady. Perfectly fine to be fast on the push. So push and breathe out. Almost there. 3, 2, 1. Good. 20-second rest. Change it up. So you've got the next one, the power push. And again, it's important, you know, take the water in, little sips, nothing crazy. Nothing like it's going to feel like it's swilling around inside your stomach. Alright, here we go. So down to your squat, falling forward, and then push out from the legs. So it's upper body, but we're throwing a little bit of legs in there as well before they get too beat up from dedicated leg rounds. And this was just fun. I just really like this movement as well. You feel like you got that push, and there's a little bit of a break between the upper body before it has to work again, and the lower body. So the legs kind of, they hold that flexion, and that's the only time they really release it, is in that extension. So if you're getting the jump, it's going to feel a little bit heavier. Home stretch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Here we go. Last one of cluster 1. Again, keeping that walk coming in. The chair works nice. There's a little rest period as well. Take a dedicated seat. Into the first rep. So what I was just kind of finishing off last time we were looking at this exercise was getting that lockout is going to be much more important there. So you're really trying to make the tricep short. So it's pulling the elbow into that long position. A lot of people focus on the depth here and getting really, really low, and that will just sacrifice the technique and the health of their shoulders. So they're going super low then, which means that chest starts to cave in. It's not a great angle if you're working around at a desk anyway, so you want to kind of feel you're getting the stretch and not letting it cave in. So you see I had to take a little rest there because now it's burning. And I'm using my legs, it's not all arms. There you go, nice. So we've got the long break, so that is 1 cluster down. So you're going to get 40 seconds now as a long break. Towel off, water up. I tell you now, the next one's going to be legs. So it's going to be 3 exercises. It takes you all through the lower body. Taking big deep breaths so you can feel. So you might even just be able to see the tablet in the background. The time is it's just the same as what's on screen. So this one we're going to go in for a squat, into a lunge, back into the squat. And you can break that up and go squat, lunge, squat, lunge. We can do what I've done there, squat, lunge, squat. So in you go. As you go into that squat, as you go into the lunge, the breathing is the same. Breathe it in on the way down. If you want, you can add a bit of weight to this as well. Totally optional, so you can hold bottle of water, you can hold something a little bit heavy, as long as it doesn't put your technique off. You can make it jumping as well. If you want to progress this, make it a little bit explosive. Change the angle up here, so my squat, I'm seeing my body trying to go straight between the feet. The ankles are nowhere near each other for that squat. Knees are driving out wide. And for the lunge, the knee is trying to go straight on. So that's why I've changed this forward facing angle. Okay, 20 seconds rest. So here's where we're going to hit our next one. So we're going to go into this side to side lunge. The main thing here is it's a little bit hard to see from this angle, but the knee wants to be wider than the hips. So when we get into that first rep, see the knee is the widest part of the exercise. Trying as well, so look at where my feet are positioning, probably on this one. You see, I'm trying to mimic that angle by the knee. So I don't want the knee and the feet to change drastically in where they are pointing at the flexed position. So there, knee and toes are facing the same way. Boom. Same this way. Boom. So I really don't know how I fit into the balcony trying to do these and fit this on camera, but yeah, it's a bit of a squeeze. Okay, 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Alright, so that was the second of the third leg exercises. And we're going to bring in a squat pop, get the heart rate back up. So you did these in the warm-up. You did them about 5 to 10 seconds. So now you're going to have a little bit longer. We have 40-second set, obviously. So you're going to have to pace yourself, but you're really going to feel it. 3, 2, 1, back in. So there you go. Right, so you're warmed up from when you last did these. You got 2 choices. I'm going there with a single hand, and I've just changed it now to the double hand touch. It doesn't seem like a massive switch, but if you've got the single hand, you can rotate closer to the ground, so you don't need to flex hips and knees as much. The double, to get the touch, you've got to bend the knees and you've got to bend the hips more. So both perfectly good options. You can keep mixing it up. Not for injuries, just to kind of keep 40 seconds feeling a bit more interesting. So you go maybe 3 or 4 doubles, 8 singles. Gives you something to kind of count rather than just counting the seconds. 3, 2, 1, boom. Alright, 1 time through. Right now you're exactly halfway through the workout. So you've done the upper body cluster, completed it, and you're halfway through cluster number 2. Cluster number 3, we're going to go into the abs and the core. So you go back into that first leg move. So this is going to be squat, lunge, lunge. So you probably feel a little bit more shaky in the legs now. Breathe in as you come down. Remember those knees are in front of the hips. And really emphasize on your lunges, pushing off the back foot's big toes. That's going to be the big driving force and drive forward. Feel that your hips in both exercises are being pushed forward, the squat and the lunge, by the glutes. So those big powerhouse muscles that you sit on. And for both, try to keep your chest up. Try to feel that length in your spine and your core is long, so it's not leaning in. Try to keep up, chin at your chest. There you go. That one done for the day. That's it. Take a wipe, get some water in. 20 seconds. So these workouts are quite nice because the rests, you can take time between each set to get some water, get a towel break. It's not so intense, but it is when you should get into it because the sets are longer. Here we go. So that's side to side lunges again. Now this one, feel free to put hands on your legs if you can't push yourself out of however low you've gone into it. I've been doing these for a while, so I feel pretty good with my flexibility on here as well. So you can see the great thing is the ankle mobility that you're getting here. So that angle right there, the ankle, it's lovely stuff. It really helps to kind of keep it. And that's going to be a lot of people's restrictions here at first, but it's a great one to kind of emphasize the importance of pushing that mobility in there as well. So if you feel tight, don't go for injury, use your hands to assist it. You could even use here, I haven't done it, but use the balcony. So that ledge could give me a bit of an assistance if you're feeling tired, or if you want to get a little bit lower, or put your hands on the ground. So you kind of go as low as you can and then use your hands to help you push back up as well, so if the legs haven't got the strength at that massive stretched part of the exercise. So we're going to go into squat pops for the last time. 3, 2, 1. And again, I'm starting off with the single arms, getting that little bit more rotation. The main thing here is you moving faster than the last 2 exercises, so you want to breathe fast as well. So I've gone back into the doubles. Weirdly enough, it feels a little bit quicker, it looks a little bit quicker. Those singles, because of that rotation, you want to slow the move down a little bit as well. So even though you're not traveling as far with the legs and the hips to get to there. 3, 2, 1, and it's 2 clusters down. So we're going to go into the last cluster now. So we've got 3 brand new exercises coming up. Not going to involve too much moving around, but it's all going to be on the core. Again, So we're just getting into it. So the first one's going to be bicycle crunches. So these are so good because you have some flexion and extension with the core. You have a little bit of rotation, and you have a point in time where you're statically contracting to hold the leg out long. So it's a great all-round exercise, but of course able to be modified back down for anyone with injuries. So there, my left elbow trying to touch right knee. So I'm not doing it just yet, but if this is too hard, the leg that's long, let it rest on the ground. So there, boom, it lets to the ground, come back up. So it doesn't seem like a massive drop, but I genuinely do drop to that version of the exercise throughout this workout. At this point, I'm just going to show both. Keep a little bit more of the first that I've showed, but I will actually on plus the 2, maybe it happens in a second, but I generally drop to that other version because the core is on fire here. Constant upper abs working, rotation going in there as well, plus that static hold. Trying to be aware that your lower back isn't arching as well, and your hands certainly not pulling on the neck muscles. So you see they were just placed on my temple. So I'm going to throw in a glute bridge and then a sit up. So I modify the legs a little bit, and at the top of that sit up, again, the main thing is feel yourself really long in that spine. Reach up for the sky, reach up for the ceiling, whatever you've got above you. Just patting down the gym, rubber's always coming off. So there we go, reach like that. Back down, slow and steady, get the glute bridge. Reach, back down. And of course, you can always do a single glute bridge. Just changing leg at the bottom. It's going to make that glute work a little bit harder as well. So just depending how much of that last cluster tired you out, if you've got a little bit more juice left in the lower body, you can add in that extra bit of leg work. And you're giving yourself a tiny bit of a break before the third and final ab exercise. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so last one I'm going to be hitting up a Russian twist. So again, the main thing here is get that full 180-degree rotation. You can do this with the legs in the air, and you can do this with the legs on the ground. So in the air, there's an added balance requirement from your core. As you can see, I'm looking a little bit done now. So this is a good point. So you now know after this, there's no more new exercises coming up. Nice big rotation. It's a nice quick little workout, but effective. 10 seconds gone. And same, if you have a little bit of weight from some of those leg exercises and they were quite light, you can always try this here. Again, just making sure you feel long in the spine. So you don't want your sternum collapsing in to your belly button. You want to feel quite long in the distances between those 2 points. So chest is proud. Making sure with these, biggest piece of advice, make sure you've got a nice comfortable yoga mat. It makes a massive difference because you're there, especially if you're sweating and your body kind of starts to move around and you start to rep these out pretty fast. You don't want to kind of have a house tile underneath you or solid floor or carpet. So we're going to go back into the first exercise of this course. We've got a bicycle crunch. Again, just change the angle. I've gone straight in for the regressed version because my core's done. So we've gone from that last exercise, which was rotation. We've got rotation, flexion, and that hold. So I just have to drop the hold on this one. And then that works as active recovery for those muscles. So in a second, there you go, it comes back in. And that's the beautiful thing. So because there's 2 versions, doesn't mean you have to pick one. And then if you're trying to do the harder version and you stop for 10 seconds and you're not doing reps because you can't do it, perfectly fine. Regress the exercise, it keeps the reps coming, and that will give you that little active rest to push. So another one done, 2 more, and you're done. So we're going back into the glute bridge, sit up and reach. So enjoy this. So in this one, this nice up cluster, there's nothing too crazy of your positions. You're all on the ground to lie down. And here we go, glute bridge. And up. Obviously you got that change up as well. So feel free, I'm just doing the singles. I quite like them. I've done glute bridges for a while, and it's that kind of ability that I'm ready to kind of keep the progression on the singles. But if you want to do the doubles, boom, there's regressions there for the doubles. Keep that core tight and long. So once you kind of hear the first beat, you know that means it's 3 seconds left. And that's a case of can you get that last rep. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last one. Here we go for the Russian twist. Almost through it now. 5 seconds. Let's go time. 2, 1. Same thing. So pretty much no legs raised in this one from me. I think it's just not enough in the tank left to make sure the reps are being performed perfectly well. So that's the thing. It's a case of maybe you can do it and it doesn't, and it feels okay, but it's maybe not right. So this is where I can kind of be honest with myself and think I'm going to get a better exercise and better execution of the exercise by dropping the heels, keeping the balance, take that out of the equation and get the twist, rather than trying to balance and only getting a small amount of rotation there. Are you ready to finish it? 3, 2, 1. Awesome job. Awesome job. Okay, so we're just going to do some stretching. I'm going to force you to do some stretching. So here's where you could turn the video off if you don't want us to do it. So we're going to do 30-second positions. We're going to do 5 lots of these as well. So we've got a nice cooling balloon. I'm just going to, the first thing we're going to open up is the core. So the last cluster we did is the first area we're going to work on. Now it's perfectly fine for you to feel a little bit of pressure in the lower back, and I mean a little bit. You don't want to be feeling pain in this exercise. There's a big difference. So again, if you want to add the stretch, you can look up to the ceiling, to the sky. Here, abs are feeling a bit tight for me, so I'm just keeping it down, but not too low. I'm going to go into the second exercise. So we're going to go into, this is going to be 30 seconds per side. So the leg that's on the ground, try to squeeze that butt cheek as well. So the glute is trying to pull the hip back as well as trying to push forward. You can also add the rotation. So I'm on my right leg, I'm trying to rotate right. So if it's the left leg out in front of you, rotate left. And then just ask to take deep breaths now. So all the danger stuff is done, all the panic mode is done. We are cooling down. So what's the next one? It's just going to be the opposite side. Pushing in. And again, this is where the really good mat makes a big difference. So I particularly don't like a lot of pressure on my knees. So a mat like these are great for me. I don't even feel about it now. Sometimes at the parks with the classes on the go, I can really feel that pressure in the knees, particularly if I've run out of mats. Same deal, pushing forward, and then all you're focusing on the stretch. You haven't got any other distractions. So we're going to get off knees onto the wall, find a bit of a flat wall. Hands are long, higher than the head, legs are straight, and just try to push back. So the goal there is, you can see from this side angle, my head is lower than my arms. And try to really feel the shoulder blades are squeezing together. The stretch, you might feel it through the lats. That's the part of your back. You might feel it in the armpit, around the shoulder socket. You won't feel it in the legs. And then the last stretch, we're going to go into the chest. So I'm just going to grab the wrist, show you what I'm doing there behind my body, and then raise it up. So I just feel that lovely little stretch through the shoulders, through the pec, particularly in our posture now, looking at being around keyboard and mouse, mobile phones. The shoulders here, we're trying to combat that and pull them apart, as opposed to the position that you spend most of the day. And that was it. Feel good? That was your 20-minute HiiT workout. Congratulations, guys. See you on your next one.